is now. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 31st of October. So last day of the month, we could get a bit of last day of the month reaction. Remember to adjust your time settings. We've gone back an hour in the UK, so if you need to change anything, make sure you do it. What we got the outlook of today, news-wise today, I'm just going to look at the week ahead a little bit here, and then we'll go through today's analysis, etc. But for the week ahead, we've got inflation out this morning. It's the core flash estimate, comes out 10 o'clock. With inflation and everything being so key at the moment, I would tread carefully around that at 10 o'clock. Thereafter, Aussie dollar, we've got tomorrow morning, well, early hours of tomorrow morning through the Asian session there. Expected a 0.25. They're going in mini steps, aren't they? Going in mini steps, but there's still 2.85. They're already above the UK or the Bank of England's rates, well, they will be effectively under it as we move through the week. Anyway, watch out for that. We've got just looking, Reserve Bank, French bank holiday, Italian bank holiday. Let's go across to France. We'll leave that. Okay, unemployment change. So employment data if you're trading the New Zealand dollar. Then on Wednesday, of course, we get to the ADP non-farms, which are proving as useful as a chocolate teapot still, but we do get volatility near them. But more importantly, we've got the FOMC in the evening there at 6 p.m, 6:30. We've got the press conference. So that is all there, all fine. And then we got the Bank of England on Thursday. Watch out for that. That's at 12 o'clock, followed by 12:30 with the Bank of England governor speaking. And then on Friday, of course, we've got non-farm payrolls, but watch out because we've got the Reserve Bank of Australia monetary policy statement coming out through the Asian session there. We've got ECB Lagarde speaking at 9:30, but I'd be aware of that. So it really is and then we've got both the Canadian and US non-farms. So really plenty of data out this week. You could see some real slow periods followed by very volatile, followed by some slow ones. So that's the happiness for this week, but there may be some good opportunities. There often are. As we move into the first week of the month. Right, okay, so that is that. Let's have a look at what's going on. We'll look at the currencies first, and we got the euro this morning coming off a little bit. It's just looking, I looked at the sentiment over the weekend on here, and it would appear that the sentiment from the bigger money is getting a little bit more bullish on the euro. Now, technically, yep, we're still in that sort of bullish zone at the moment. We've broken the big trend here. We put higher lows in, so all of those sort of things point to upside. However, it's not looking so pretty as you come down the time frames here, and I've got to be drawn into what the current money is doing and not what the retail, the bigger money is doing. The Commitment of Traders report is showing the most important thing is what's happening right now, and if it's selling, it's selling. And at the moment, it does look a tad on the weaker side. If it breaks through these prior lows here, I'm showing you on a 60 minutes, actually cleaner on a 4-hourly. But if it breaks through these prior lows, then we could see it's below its weekly pivot. We could see more downside. It just looks a bit on the softer side at the moment. Isn't to say it's going to run down all week, but who knows? We've got to be drawn on what the price action actually shows us, not what we think will happen. Okay, the pound. The pound then, it's been more positive in terms of its price action here. A break back above that break above that 4-hourly 200. 500, beg your pardon, would be quite significant. At the moment it looks like it's heading back towards its weekly pivot, and that could well be on the cards, but we'll see. Again, we're sitting on the shorter time frame here. We've got the 34 and 50 just below, so there's a bit of breaking down to do there, and of course it's a sort of in this time frame it's a bull flag, so let's see what happens post 8 o'clock. All of these could turn around quite quickly. We see it time and time again. Look at this just slightly early, and you've just got to keep on nursing it. You've just got to keep coming back and looking what's happening post 8 o'clock. But for now, as I say, it does look, some parts of it look rather soft at the moment. Really depends if we continue breaking it through this morning. Okay, that's the pound, the yen. Remember on the euro, the news at 10 o'clock. The yen, dollar yen, yen's softened again against the US dollar, basically strengthened back again for now at least. Slowing down where it is. There'll be some divergence over these little near-term highs. Let's have a look here. It's, I mean, really the high lows, higher highs coming through it. Really, it just does look soft, but again this morning it may be a buying area back into that weekly pivot around the 147.40 area, but we'll see what if it does come down there. Need to check and see what it does. If it carries on breaking through, it has got the daily pivot a bit lower. If it carries on pulling through, then I'll ignore it and wait and see if it corrects some more. Aussie dollar. So the Aussie softened again. It's on Friday, and well, it's catching a little bounce off its near-term moving averages, it would appear. It has got its weekly pivot there as well. Again, here it's a case. It's a bit like the euro in a sense. If it starts breaking down these lows here, well, I would be a bit more bearish this morning. So that's the sort of clue to the downside. Probably back above the 50 I would prefer, judging by it on the short-term time frames here. 60-minute time frame, you're looking at its 50 heading down south strongly. That could provide some solid resistance at the angle it's at, etc. So if it does break through, I would wait, see what the reaction is. It could just take a reaction to it and then go back through it later on in the day, but certainly looking iffy. Canadian dollar. Canadians also sort of got a bounce, but not to the same stage. So this is the this is the US dollar CAD. Remember, so the bounce. When I say the CAD's got a bounce, it's softening a little bit back, but it's back to its key moving averages again. It's an inverted Aussie very much at the moment, and a lot of the same applies here. So we're sitting around the weekly pivot at the moment. A breakdown, well, we've seen these sort of lower highs, lower lows. The bigger movement seems to be on the downside when it starts moving, but lots of consolidation at times over the last couple of weeks. Last week it was just dull for a long time. You just got to leave it when it's like this, and wait for it to sort of show its hand, and patience is always going to pay you in the long term. Right, so CAD, yeah. Wait and see what it's happening this morning. If it starts breaking down, I'll be quite happy with the direction it's been taking, and it would give us a bit of a suggestion that the dollar's still softening back a little, but it's got to prove itself first. Right, they're the major currencies. Let's just have a look at gold. Gold this morning, similar-ish picture to some of these markets. It's rather soft where it's sat. It's come back. It's put lower highs in on the 4 hourlies. So I'll just come back to the daily. I mean, the daily to me looks pretty bearish still. The overall direction of what's going on. A break later on. I mean, again, it's a bit like the euro, etc. A break later on. Could see it rolling south. So very similar picture. Looking quite soft there. Oil. So oil, what you're up to, oil. Oil is a lot more consolidated. maybe it's got something more. It's lower high coming through here. We did get a surge up sort of early to midweek last week. I'm still wondering, and fundamentally I'm still wondering whether we'll get another push up here, but lower high coming through on this 4 hourly just to make it look a little bit softer. However, I would look at this later this afternoon. It's Western Texas. It has a lot more volume and a better price action, generally around 2 o'clock, and I would be looking to trade that. So then at the moment it's a bit too messy for me to draw too much of a conclusion. So switching markets, let's just come across here and change the indices to crypto for a moment. So a few crypto followers out there. Weekend's not been quite so good, a bit more choppy here, and there's no surprise to see. Let's just adjust that a little. So no great surprise to see what's happening here. Bit of consolidation after a bit of positive action earlier last week, running through there, and certainly helped it, but all off a little bit this morning. And this is what we're seeing in the fiat currencies, as a lot will call them. But bearish looking pivot swings sitting there on the on Ripple, XRP there looking softer. Certainly not looking convincing to the upside really at the moment, and this to me just looks like a bear flag. So I think they need to prove something more. Binance is being one of the exceptions. It's been running well over the weekend. It's been certainly bought by traders through that period, looking far more positive. Chainlink also catching the bid, so seeing much more positiveness over these two. Anyway, just on Chainlinks, I should say, I mean it's pretty close to those prior highs where it struggled before. If it can zip up here, perhaps it has got a bit more potential. Right, switching markets to the indices. So it's indices followers, the CSI 300 again. Closing down through the Asian session there, closed off down. Quite a move down, quite a gap down initially, filled the gap, but looking soft, just continues to look soft. The Nifty 50, the Nikkei, beg your pardon first. The Nikkei was looking a bit more positive, and we've seen this sort of positiveness through late last week through the US markets, but whether they're going to follow suit today is another matter. Nifty 50 again pushing up well at this stage. Solid old movement back towards its highs there. As I said, this is always going to be a bit of a leader on the positive news and anything, and it's certainly proving that at the moment. S&Ps. So the S&Ps at the moment, well, it's put a bullish pivot swing there on the dailies. A break of the highs could signify further upside there. It will give us a higher low along with the previous higher lows. I'll just bring this down the time frame. There you go, you see the higher lows coming through there, positive charge. At the moment it's consolidating. Often we get that, and it's just providing effectively potentially another flagpole. So at the moment more of a positive outlook on these equity markets. How long they can last is another matter. The more we see the potential of the interest rates increasing potentially more than initially thought, could put a spoiler on these, and particularly if we go into recession in different countries. Dow Jones really firing. This is, as I said last week, if you're looking at the more potential, if you're really bullish, there's certainly these markets are giving us the by far the bigger movements, and this certainly is one of them. Nasdaq, if you're looking for the bearish markets, if it starts rolling over, I expect a bigger move to the downside on this, and a bigger move on the likes of even the ES, the E-minis, or the Dow, both more bullish than this particular market, although it has put a pivot swing in there. A break of the 11,684 area will give us higher low and look more positive. Coming close to home, just look at the DAX this morning. Again, this has been starting to pick up a lot better. Today off at the moment. Again, though, it has previously put the higher lows in there. Maybe it just needs a bit of consolidation. The inflation today might see the DAX move quite a bit around 10 o'clock. FTSE, it's a bit softer overall. Again, this is just sort of, it's where it was the darling market for quite a while. Now it's, I mean, this is since these sell-offs been and the pound's been hammered as well. And the chances of recession are higher, and the uncertainty, it really has kicked a lot of the UK stocks. However, of course, a lot of the money comes elsewhere, so we could see some turnaround, or I could say turnaround, but a continuation and a stronger continuation to the upside at some point. But it's a little bit more like the Nasdaq, a little bit on the softer side for now, at least. Anyway, on that cheerful note, watch out for the data at 10 o'clock, but otherwise it should be a relatively quiet day today, and it might be a very quiet day, we'll see. But have a great one. I'll catch you later. Bye for now. There we go.